Welcome to this comprehensive video on democratic socialism. We will explore what it is, where it exists, its benefits, and the criticisms surrounding its implementation. This program is brought to you by the Series of Thoughts team as part of the Political Theory and Government series. In summary, democratic socialism is a political ideology that combines democratic governance with social ownership of the economy. While no fully democratic socialist nations exist, many incorporate its key principles. The core tension is balancing economic equality with efficiency and individual freedom. Part 1 focuses on understanding democratic socialism. It is a distinct political ideology, seeking a fundamental transformation of economic systems while maintaining democratic institutions and processes. Democratic socialism is a left-wing ideology combining political democracy with collective ownership of the economy. Unlike authoritarian socialism, it emphasizes democratic decision-making at all levels and argues that capitalism is incompatible with true freedom and equality. It seeks gradual, not revolutionary, change. Core characteristics include a democratically run economy with decentralized control, social ownership replacing traditional private ownership, strong emphasis on participatory democracy, and an explicit rejection of authoritarianism. Economic democracy is central, where workers exercise direct control through self-management. This approach operates within market socialist systems, aiming to democratize economic power while maintaining market responsiveness. It is crucial to distinguish democratic socialism from social democracy. Democratic socialism seeks to replace capitalism with social ownership, while social democracy reforms and regulates capitalism, maintaining private ownership with a strong welfare state. Part 2 examines democratic socialism around the world. Although no country is fully democratic socialist, many nations integrate elements like robust welfare systems, worker protections, and strategic public ownership. While no nation strictly features a fully socially owned economy combined with comprehensive democratic governance, many countries have adopted these principles in specific policy areas, creating hybrid systems. The Nordic nations, like Sweden and Norway, are social democracies, but incorporate key democratic socialist principles. They feature comprehensive welfare systems, strong worker protections, and public ownership in strategic sectors. Across Europe, democratic socialist influence is seen in Germany's co-determination laws, the UK Labour Party's policies on public ownership, and left-wing governance influencing healthcare and labor law in Spain and Portugal. In Latin America, countries like Uruguay have incorporated progressive social policies and expanded public services under democratic socialist-influenced governments, demonstrating adaptation to varying contexts. This chart illustrates the relative adoption of democratic socialist principles across different regions, including public ownership, worker protections, and comprehensive welfare systems. The Nordic countries show the highest relative adoption. Part 3 discusses the benefits of democratic socialism. Proponents argue it offers solutions to inequality, economic insecurity, and democratic deficits in workplace governance. The ideology aims to reduce class inequality through community ownership in universal services, democratizing economic power to prevent wealth concentration, and ensuring workers benefit directly from the value they create. Democratic socialism promotes greater economic opportunity through universal healthcare, free education, and housing security, treating these fundamentals as investments in human capital, not mere market commodities. Public oversight or ownership of essential industries prevents price manipulation, monopolies, and exploitative behavior, ensuring pricing decisions prioritize public welfare over maximizing shareholder returns. Policies aim for increased income equality by narrowing the wealth gap, increasing the worker income share, and strengthening middle-class stability through structural economic reforms and empowerment. Democratic control of workplaces gives workers a meaningful voice in operations, improving fairness and accountability. This includes direct participation in management, profit sharing, and collective bargaining. Key benefits include achieving economic equality, universal opportunity, market protections, workplace democracy, and economic security through comprehensive social safety nets. Part 4 examines the criticisms of democratic socialism. Critics raise concerns regarding efficiency, feasibility of implementation, and potential unintended consequences of these policies. A central critique is economic efficiency. Critics argue that removing private ownership and profit motives reduces incentives for innovation, competition, and cost control, potentially leading to stagnation and waste. Concerns include innovation risk due to reduced profit incentives, loss of competition reducing quality improvements, and potential efficiency decline leading to bureaucracy. Funding universal services often requires higher taxes, which critics argue can discourage investment, entrepreneurship, and economic growth, potentially leading to capital flight. Countries with more democratic socialist policies typically have higher tax burdens as a percentage of GDP, raising the policy question of whether the services provided justify the required taxation levels. Opponents worry that increased state economic involvement could lead to government overreach, reducing personal economic freedom, increasing bureaucratic inflexibility, and risking political interference or corruption. Implementation challenges include transition complexity, institutional barriers like property rights, political resistance from powerful interests, and economic disruption during the change process. The frequent confusion between democratic socialism and social democracy leads to political ambiguity. This muddies policy debates and can create inconsistent expectations for systemic transformation versus reformed capitalism. Key criticisms include concerns over efficiency and innovation, high taxation levels, potential state overreach, practical implementation difficulties, and a lack of ideological clarity. Part 5 presents an analytical framework for weighing the evidence. Evaluating democratic socialism requires balancing theoretical benefits against practical challenges and considering value trade-offs. Central trade-offs involve balancing equality against efficiency, security against economic dynamism, collective versus individual decision-making, and structural change against systemic stability. Policymakers must address normative questions about acceptable inequality, empirical questions about whether democratic control can substitute for market discipline, and the optimal balance between collective and individual economic freedom. Key takeaways include the clear definition, the limited implementation globally, potential benefits in equality and opportunity, serious concerns regarding efficiency, and the necessity of making value trade-offs. Democratic socialism addresses real problems like wealth concentration and lack of worker voice. However, the absence of fully realized economies means claims remain theoretical. Policymakers often adopt a selective approach, incorporating specific principles to solve particular problems. In conclusion, democratic socialism aims for equality and worker empowerment, but faces efficiency and implementation challenges. Understanding it requires moving beyond rhetoric to engage with its foundations and practical implications for organizing economic life with both prosperity and justice.